Do you think if you have a great idea that it will turn out to be success? Let's go on. Great idea, plenty of money to finance it. You have all the experience in the world, and then success? No. Wrong answer. So what is the right answer? This guy has courage, he has persistence, he's been learning continuously. So what happens to him? He has to apply his ideas, skills, and resources, and continuously work on that. That gives him success. So bright idea plus money is not success. The part on the left, the ideas, resources, skills, put together with courage and persistence is what turns out to success for him. And what buys him the comfort and aspiration that he looks for. So what's the difference between success and failure? Success is a series of failures that you hold together with a string. He's failed several times, he holds it. Why this guy is just repeating the same dumb thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's failure for you. So look at what happens to the process of entrepreneurship for a lot of people. If you've done some business, if you gain money, if you gain profit from an endeavor, you have expanded resources. What then happens is that you are able to create opportunities and you invest more in what you've done. When you've invested, if you started as a one-man show, if you gain, I started my business as one person. Let me use an example. As I gained some level of profits, I expanded my resources and invested in it, in the other ideas I had. How do one start a business afresh and don't want to lose it to another marketer or persons? Have you heard of complementary businesses? If you are selling, let's use, if you are selling drugs, let's assume you're a pharmacy. Okay, do you know it's easy to also bring in cosmetics into it? Have you not gone to pharmacies where they sell drugs in one shelf, another shelf they have supplements, some herbal products and some other things? They have that. Yes. So that would be a complementary good. Or you sell music, then you sell movies. That's complementary. So I don't know who wrote this, if you can identify yourself. When you're talking about moving to another business, another line of business, and you don't want to lose the business you are in, I don't know what your resources are. If your resources are lean, and the new business you are going into, you don't have the capacity to drive that, or it takes away all your time, you probably will lose the business you currently have. So the question is, are you willing to leave what you have to go and get what you may not get? It's a question that is vague. I need to have more substance to be able to answer that. But if you ask me, I would say, except you are not doing well where you are, and you cannot continue doing well, that's why you are trying to live to something else. But whatever the case, I think those are the fundamental issues we need to worry about. Why do you want to move to another market? Is it that they've beaten you in this market, you feel that you'll be better off entering into another market? Remember, if you want to lose your market to others, do you want others to lose their market to you? You are moving to another market. So think about it very well. How do I relate it to others to believe in me, to carry them along and not steal the God-given idea? No idea is unique to you. That's the good news. People already know the idea you want to come up with. No idea is unique. None. It's who will do it first, who will do it best, who will do it long lasting. That's it. Everybody has thought about everything. Who wants to suggest a business no one else has done? Anyone? Please, do you think, just let's trash it out. There was a time when phones came out, there were phones that didn't have touchlight. So maybe someone would have thought, wow, if we had a phone that had touchlight now, once we had that has settled everything. Or there was a time there were phones that didn't have FM. Now phones have FM radios. So there's no idea you come up with that. It's either in the prototype stage, someone is testing it somewhere, you are not aware. And that's why that what if question comes in. What of if someone has already started working on it and is going to launch it tomorrow, while we are just starting to work on it today? It's a possibility. You spent 1 year working on something only to come out to find out that some people have been working on it for 5 years and they've come up with it. And you spent all your resources. So it's a serious question you need to ask yourself. I don't think you worry about is whether you are capable. Every idea that comes out to you, you may not be the right person to execute it. You may not even have the ability to. Now, this is what happens to an entrepreneur. You see, as he keeps growing, go back to the slide before then. You see, he invests in more ideas, he creates that company, he creates jobs, he improves society, has expanded resources, he throws it back into investing in more ideas. But something can happen to some people. At this stage, go to the next slide. Some people may just prematurely withdraw their resources and start showing off. At the process of showing off, their investments are now low into what they should do. Their system collapses, no jobs, no business, society suffers, resources shrink, and everyone suffers. These guys are powerful. As an entrepreneur, your power is that you create a society no one thought existed. The guy that was taking his family here becomes a luxury car. The camel becomes a speed train. Someone wakes up and then decides for you what the change in your life will be. Someone decides that this gadget you are holding is useless. This mic, stop holding them. I want to put a lapel mic on you. So change. So entrepreneurs make choices for us. They decide what type of car we'll drive in the next 2 years. Whether the cars will not have handbrakes, we don't know. Some people will make that decision and they will put it into being. We will just buy them. So they decide your life. They are like a remote control. They press everything for you. So the question is, are you going to be one? So are you interested in entrepreneurship? If you are not, the business you are working for is a business, isn't it? Are you interested in their moving forward? I'm sure you are. So how would you do that? So let's move on to the next one. Next slide. Fantastic. Let's talk about personal leadership. Look at personal leadership. It's living your vision for yourself. Choosing your direction for your life yourself. That's what it is. That's all I'm trying to say. How do you live your own vision? How do you lead yourself? I could decide that for the next 5 years I want to work for this person and understudy him and go and do that. That's personal leadership for me. You know, I could decide, so it's a deliberate decision I've taken to choose the kind of life I want to live over a period of time. Many people lack the ability to lead themselves. No, they don't lack the ability, rather they do not build the capacity to lead themselves. Personal leadership is your choice, is what is your choice in a matter. You sit down, there are no jobs. It's a clear given, there are no jobs. But it's possible there are no jobs because no one is thinking of creating the jobs. I don't think any employer sits down and begins to create jobs. I think what happens is that he sees an opportunity that he wants to exploit, but now needs people to help him exploit them, and that's when he goes looking to create a job. You know, the jobs are not going to come except the employer sees something else he needs people for. That's why the jobs come. So, let's move on. So he sees a vision of the future and he creates that future for himself. That's what happens to an entrepreneur. Remember, everything is created twice. It's created mentally and then physically. So he creates a picture for himself and then creates it in the physical. Okay? So if you cannot create them mentally, forget about the physical part. Now this is where I worry for a lot of people. A lot of people do not create the right mental image. So it will never happen physically. I know how many people told me how it was impossible for a medical doctor to be in management consulting. But you know why it did not bother me? I'm the one who's supposed to create a mental image, not them. And as long as I could create the mental image, I could actualize the physical image. Unfortunately, many of them, as at this minute, still do not understand my mental image, and which is fine too, because they are not the ones involved. So creating that mental image is the key. So what do you create mentally every day? What? Yes, but what? No, I'm not asking you to tell me ideas. What? Somebody want to tell me. Something that burns you every day. You are hoping that one of these days you'll get to do. You don't know. Something that burns you. Who wants to volunteer? Who wants to try? I can tell you mine, but I've been the one talking. I'm not going to talk about mine. Who wants to try? Help us. What do you wake up with a burning desire for every day? Maybe you don't have the resources for it now. Doesn't mean you can't have the resources 3 years' time. I can tell you mine and I'll share one with you. But let's hear her talk. Please, let's meet you.
Okay. I'm Peace Model. And normally when I wake up in the morning, I always like, how I wish I'm already singing. Because I've written songs, I don't know how to go about it. And it has been on my mind how I wish it has come to pass already.
So that's a burning desire. That's a mental picture. But you've not created a picture. There's something missing. You have created an activity. But a picture is a statement or an image of you being in the finished product stage of something. So let's say I was a car now. My mental image will be, maybe I'm starting as a piece of tire. My mental image will be, maybe I'm being used in some of the most luxurious cars being driven out. Maybe that's my image will be of me. I'll see my image being fitted into that tire as the last one to be used. Or if I'm a songwriter, I see my song winning a Grammy Award. Yes, but that's a mental picture. Yes. So what I'm saying is that it's not the activity. It is the final picture. I have a very simple picture I see of myself. I see a picture of myself standing in any of the big business schools in the world and talking to tens of thousands of CEOs. That's a picture. That's a picture that looks very unrealistic, or looked unrealistic 5 years ago. It's not unrealistic right now. Why? Because in 2 months' time I'll be addressing CEOs in Kenya and East Africa. I'm getting closer. The further I move away from here, the more I'm getting closer to where I'm going. But that was the picture I set for myself 5 years ago. So it starts with a mental picture. And remember, it starts with courage. I had to take a leap from medicine into an unknown. So there's always that courage bit. Because if you create a mental picture, you will know what resources you need to actualize it. You will know your current state. I do not have the capacity right now. That's reality. But then, is it possible that 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 2 years' time, 1 year's time, 6 months' time I may have? It may mean you need to go and learn a new skill. It may mean that you may need to go and understudy some people for a while.